June 21st, 2025, year of our Lord here at historic Keyworth Stadium, saw 90-degree weather, wind gusts 30-plus miles an hour that almost took my hat over the damn wall, and a men's-women's doubleheader here of Detroit City FC. We'll start off with the match that just took place here, which is the women taking on AFC Ann Arbor in a huge battle for the Great Lakes Division. Coming into the match, Detroit City 2 points ahead of Ann Arbor. However, Ann Arbor won the opening matchup between the two sides 2-1. All the goals in that first match happened in the second half. Unfortunately for today, history repeated itself in the form of Detroit City scoring first, AFC Ann Arbor scoring closely at 2 goals very quickly after, this time in the first half. And you can tell that Detroit City's being shorthanded today. No Sophia Romine, Kate Childers, Tatiana Mason, Lily Jekyll, handful of other people, and Eva Lanstra. And final score: Detroit City FC 1, AFC Ann Arbor 2. Ann Arbor takes the lead again in the Great Lakes Division with 1 point with the final 2 matchups, and by way of the 2 wins over Detroit City FC, has the tiebreaker. Adam Hernandez, what's your takeaway from this one?
Disappointing, considering, the matchup, the magnitude of this matchup,
right?
The players that we were missing. It sucks. I mean, it sucks that we weren't, that we had to go without, Sophia Romine, Tatiana Mason, Lily Jekyll, who's been away from the team, I think, for just about every single game except the first two or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not ideal. It's not an ideal situation for, heading into this game, given the ramifications, given what's on the line. You obviously want a full match, and unfortunately, this is going to give Jaime some.
Jaime Ventura, the Peruvian hair god in Channel 451, who was talking about squad depth, I think, as recently as our last episode. So needless to say, the boy is feeling pretty vindicated right now.
Yeah, when he was, I mean, he had a point.
Yeah,
he had a point. I mean, he was completely right about it. And when he was talking about this on Tunnel Talk the other night, obviously, depth was an issue. It's an issue when you're going up. It may not be an issue every single match, but it certainly was an issue today when you're facing one of the better teams in the division. So, it sucks. It sucks that we weren't at full strength. If we were at full strength, there's probably a good chance that we win this match. So
at least take a point from it.
Yeah.
So now what does this mean? That means going into this match, Detroit City FC had their own destiny controlled. That's not the case anymore. AFC Ann Arbor's final 2 matchups are Union FC, Macomb, Toledo Villa. Detroit City's 2 matchups, Toledo Villa away this coming Wednesday, June the 25th, at Kalamazoo, Saturday, June 28th. You got to win out and hope for some magic. Whatever magic, faith, anything.
And they felt it too today.
Yeah.
I mean, the depth obviously an issue, but I mean that second half, they look like a dead team.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like the energy was sucked out of them. I mean, the energy was certainly sucked out of the crowd. It seemed like too. It wasn't a good place.
Yeah.
Altogether for them. This, in that second half, it just wasn't good. So
yeah, we're gonna have after this here, you'll be seeing a post-match recap with Coach Dave Dwaihy breaking down this matchup even further. So be on the lookout after that for this. But now let's talk to what happened earlier today. 56 days without a win for Detroit City FC's men's side. No more. Done. Earlier today, taking on the Miami FC, who had played 3 days prior, 1-0 win over Charleston Battery, in a match to at least hang on to 5th place and to do some catching up on North Carolina FC. And we saw some life, we saw some fire, we saw a lot of the things that we were looking at. Not the most perfect game, very difficult at times. Jessiel Cedeno in the first half, a bit of magic. Atis Diouf in stoppage time in the second half, moment of magic. A Darren Smith penalty saved before that, and some Carlos Herrera saves. Detroit City FC 2, the Miami FC 0. The streak is over, Adam. You were here. I watched the match at home in this confines of my fan. You lugged out both matches here, so I'm going to hand it over to you for your take.
I mean, what you could take from that match is that it's something to build off of. I mean, it was in no way a match that was impressive. It wasn't an impressive win. needless to say, it was a win that they needed. So it was. I'm glad that they got it, but it's a match that you just need to build off of because I think you play like that against just about any other team in this in this conference, at least one of the top of the table teams.
Right.
You're probably still losing it. But another thing too is they need to start at Diouf.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if the guy needs more minutes, he showed his worth out there, late in that second half. He should have scored probably twice in that second half, pulling the save move in the box. And I don't know what this coaching staff is going to be thinking moving forward if they don't start him.
Right.
They need to start him because I think it's criminal if they don't at this point. This team needs a playmaker. They've been dying for a playmaker. They have a playmaker that's been sitting on the bench for most of the season.
Yep. And why don't we bring out what the news that came out today, which further enhances your point as to why Atis Diouf needs to be playing.
Ben Morris is down and out with a ACL injury. No, I don't know the extent of it. You don't know the extent of it.
Right.
I mean, they're a little bit, lighter at forward at this point right now, which they already have trouble scoring goals to begin with. Now you have Ben Morris going down.
Yep.
You need a guy out there, especially when it comes to Darren too, because
Jordan Adebayo-Smith out too right now too.
Yes,
so I mean that's another big issue too. There.
Darren needs a guy who's going to be able to create plays for him. He's not going to be able to do it by himself.
Yeah.
He needs a guy like Diouf out there to help create for him.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why a guy like that is sitting on the bench for most of the season. It's weird.
Was this the best Jesse Cedeno game you've seen from him in a long time?
We've had a few Jesse Cedeno games that I think he's looked good. Obviously, this is one that stands out because he scored. But,
right.
It was a good game from him, obviously.
Elijah back in the starting lineup for the first time since the regular season finale of 2024. Big for that. Ryan Williams now back in there. Maybe we can start to see some solidifying in that central midfield, especially. That's been a pain point lately in there too. Stephen Carroll started, but
Jope is needed too.
Yeah.
I mean, that midfield is so thin. It's so bare. Without him, it's obviously a huge weak point for this team.
Yeah.
And Jope at not 100% at this point is
better than not at all.
Yeah. So
does Carlos Herrera's performance today, in your mind, solidify the number one spot at the moment for him?
I think
in league play?
At this point right now, you gotta run with any good performance.
Hot hand.
I think that. I mean, I'm ready for them to call up McGruva and have him go. I mean, why not at this point? But yeah, you start Herrera in the next match. Obviously, I think that's a given.
So league play is off for the next couple weeks. What you have coming up for Detroit City FC's men's side this coming Wednesday, June 25th, Santos Laguna of Liga MX coming to Keyworth for a friendly. I know on the commentary it was said 7 o'clock. I thought it was 8 o'clock.
I don't know.
Stay on the lookout. Yeah.
Who knows at this point?
Shit changes on the fly. Saturday, June 28th sees match day 3 of the USL Jägermeister League Cup, which we've seen sponsored by Tito's Vodka. Again, too much booze. That is 7 p.m. League play resumes Saturday, July 5th, 10 p.m. at Oakland Coliseum against the Roots. So Moridona gets to take on his old team. So hopefully what we saw today continues on for the men. So we have any final thoughts that you want to add?
No, good for the men. Sucks for the women tonight, but you move on.
Adam Hernandez here, Garrett Comas, Jared Koch behind the camera, Jackson Hernandez talking shit to us occasionally here and there. So hit that like and subscribe on the Majors TV YouTube, and Make City Make Expense, Channel 451 Tunnel Talk, both dropping next week. We move onward. Our post-match coverage of this men's-women's doubleheader here at historic Keyworth Stadium continues with head coach Dave Dwaihy after this tough women's matchup today. Detroit City, AFC Ann Arbor, Great Lakes battle. Final score: Detroit City FC 1, AFC Ann Arbor 2. Dave Dwaihy, how are you feeling after that one? What would you say kind of was some thoughts in the match? We already know how tough of a side Ann Arbor was. This reminded me a lot of the first matchup between the sides. Did you feel the same on that, or do you think there were some differences from the first one on May 17th?
Well, I thought, it was eerily similar in some ways. We took a lead, and then like a couple minutes where they scored quick, one right after the other, kind of flipped the script. And today I was saying at halftime, like I was actually sort of grateful that it happened when it did, because it gave us a chance to respond. And obviously the wind in our backs in the second half gave us a little bit of a better chance. But you got to give them full credit. They had a really good game plan. Once they took the lead, they went into lockdown mode very effectively. They kept it when they needed to. They were clever on fouls and everything. And, that's kind of like, I thought what frustrated us so much in the first game. So,
Right.
I thought it was a valiant loss on our end. I thought we pushed to the bitter end. We almost got something out of it there on that set piece. But it wasn't meant to be. And, I don't think that takes anything away from the effort. I certainly don't think that takes anything away from the run we put together to put ourselves in this position. It's really unfortunate to lose sort of control of our own destiny, but
Right.
I'm excited to see how this plays out. I think, as I told the women after, there's every reason to believe Ann Arbor has a tough run in. They got to play Union Macomb, which is a great team, and they've got to play at Toledo at the very end, which is a team that's been tough. And speaking of which, we got work to do ourselves. We got to go to Toledo Wednesday, and then we got to go into the Lions' Den and go to Kalamazoo in the last one. So we've got plenty to focus on. And if we can find a way in both of those games, then maybe the universe rewards us for all the good things we did this summer. But either way, I hope we can finish strong, because it's just been an amazing season and a fantastic group of women. You saw it tonight. Like, even when they're losing, even when nothing's going their way, they stay together. They're positive. They have belief. They play with a lot of togetherness. And, as a coach, that's such a blessing. I'm the score and the results and the standings, it's all secondary.
Mhm.
It's just such a privilege to work with such an awesome group of women.
We knew that coming in this match would be a little bit shorthanded. If you want to kind of let people know, we know, like, when you look in the starting lineup from today and seeing in there Sophia Roma and Kate Childers, Tatiana Mason, some of the others off the top of your head, and did that require, while the shape was similar, maybe a change in plans to tactics or approaching how you would be going at Ann Arbor today?
Yeah, some notable omissions for sure. And Abby Worthman, Abby Smothers is still dealing with a little bit of a hip injury. We hope it's going to be okay, and we hope we can get her back. But either way, she's been another one who's just been outstanding for us. So it was definitely a little bit of a shuffle the deck, figure things out. But we never really veer too far from our shape and our structure, because everybody's familiar with it, and it's worked so well for us. So we just kind of had like a next woman up mentality. And I thought we played really well in stretches tonight. And when we had that 1-goal lead, I was like, okay, here we go. We're going to fly. And it was unfortunate that they equalized when they did, because I think if we could have gotten to halftime, maybe it's a very different outcome. But, it's the challenge of a summer season, is that you're going to deal with people coming and going, injuries, unexpected stuff. And, that's actually kind of what makes it great, because with the depth we have and the number of players we have in the squad, everybody gets a chance. And, hopefully in this final week we can have some more players step up and, put ourselves in contention. 2 wins, we're in the discussion, and I hope we can find a way.
So you mentioned Wednesday at Toledo Villa, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then you got to go to Kalamazoo. Everybody's got in the top 3 between yourselves and Arbor, Kalamazoo all have 2 matches left. Are you feeling like, as far as like what to expect, do you feel like, one, you might be more full strength, or is it just like approach this match and like completely know like anything? Because we've seen Toledo's performances improve from the first time that they were here at the end of May, and then also with weather on that. I know the temperature's supposed to be dropping a little bit, which is good on that. But what are you feeling like going into that one?
Yeah, they're tough. I don't think that I think that 6-0 result was very. There were a lot of factors, and namely, we got a couple early goals. A little bit fortunate to get one of those in particular, and so I think that game, you can't really look back at it and say it should be that way again. I think they've definitely shored things up. I like how they play. I think they move the ball well. They're a very worthy opponent, and they'll give us problems, no doubt. So we got to go in there with some determination and resolve, and hopefully we can find another early goal. But either way, we'll push to the end. And I think we've ground out a couple results this year. We might have to do that these last 2.
So I'm gonna, as always, what we usually do. If you want any message you want to leave for anyone that was either here tonight or check the stream out, either Sports Engine Play or on the CBS Detroit website.
Yeah, I always forget what I said the last time out, but one thing is I'm so grateful for my coaching staff. Those guys don't get talked about nearly enough. Such a pleasure to cooperate with them and work and collaborate. Amazing showing from the supporters tonight and Pride Month, and glad we were able to at least put one on the board. The last thing I'll say is, like, I think it's really easy to get caught up in the results. I always get frustrated with myself after I give interviews like this, because I realize I'm almost exclusively just talking about the win or the loss or where we are in the standings. And the truth of the matter is, like, for a lot of these players, this is just an opportunity to get ready for their college season. It's a platform for them to hopefully be get some recognition and get some press. And I think we've just got like an amazing group in place, and like they're here for the right reasons, and they're still here, and that's to be celebrated. And win, lose, or draw, I feel like we've done something right here, and we've just got an amazing culture, and I'm just very proud to be a part of it.
Tough result tonight, but as always, hard fought effort, full of heart, determination, and what you love to see from a side that wears the crest. Coach Dave Dwaihy, as always.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.